Hi everyone and welcome to a Meta-morph Genestealer tactics video. So recently a Genestealer list got third place at a grand tournament. It was a 50-player tournament playing 5 rounds over 2 days, so pretty basic stuff. But this player, he went 4-1, which I'd say is quite impressive for a Genestealer cult, for a pure Genestealer cult army. So his 4 wins were against Raven Guard, Blood Angels, Harlequins and the Tau, and losing only to an AdMech list. So, I mean, some respectable opponents. Maybe, I mean, Harlequins are quite good, but maybe not like the top armies at the moment, but still, like, pretty respectable. So I thought I'll go over his list, like, try to dissect it somehow, like, how does it work, how does it play, at least how do I think. And also looking at like what can I learn from this tournament, like from this list and this type of play, and what can I sample from it into my own games. All right. So the list itself had 2 detachments. First had a mixed outrider detachment. First with a Hive Cult part with a Primus, giving the Hive Cult Warlord trait for rerolling ones to hit in the shooting phase. Then we had a Jackal Alphas giving +1 to hit with shooting attacks. Then we had 2x3 Ridge Runners, pretty basic stuff, Mine Lasers, 2 Rock Grinders, which from what I understood was more like distractions. Then a Meta-morph and a Nexus. The other part of the outrider detachment was a Rusted Claw part with first a big blob of 10 jackals, all with demo charges, and then a smaller blob of 5 jackals with all with demo charges. Then we had a 4-armed Emperor battalion with a Patriarch and a Magus. I think the Patriarch had a Familiar as well. Then we had a large blob of Acolytes with Handflamers, 2 of them just carrying demo charges. And then another Roxo blob of Acolytes, 15 of them with 6 saws. And then just a small squad of 5 basic Acolytes and a Clamavus. Also he has spent command points for the Cult Psyche on the Magus to be able to cast 2 powers. And of course Brood Cavern to get Warlord traits on the Patriarch, Primus and the Magus. So, yeah, pretty good. So, the overall strategy of this list. Let's see what it's all about. Yep, you're absolutely right, Phil. That is a whole lot of damage. Okay, so getting a bit serious here. So, looking at this list, the Hive Cult Ridge Runners, they're very reliable in what they're doing. They can reroll ones to hit, thanks to the Primus Warlord trait. The Primus can also pick 1 target when it deploys, and the Ridge Runners can get reroll ones to wound against it. So overall, for a start, that's really good. You also have the Alphas giving +1 to hit against 1 target per turn. So they're hitting on freeze, rerolling ones, wounding on 2s or freeze, rerolling ones. I mean, it's pretty reliable, and they also have the blast key, where if they're firing at the target with at least 6 models in it, they get the full 9 shots for every Ridge Runner unit. So I mean, that's amazing. And there's also the Hive Cult strat, like if you wound a target or do damage to a target in a shooting phase, you can get +1 to hit against it. I mean, if there's certain armies like stacking modifiers or such. So, yeah, very reliable Ridge Runners. Then we have the Rusted Claw bikes, 15 of them. And with the extra explosive stratagem, you can throw 5 demolition charges per phase. In every phase that you can fire. So basically you can throw down the 10 blob and like use Perfect Ambush to throw 5 damage charges, and then in shooting phase throw 5 more. Or they could just start on the table and move around. There's also the Rusted Claw strat. You can move up. I mean, you would use it even if you come in for a serve, to get the +1 to hit and wound with the damage charges. But if you all are already on the board, you can move up, blast something with +1 to hit and wound, 5 damage charges, and then move again. So you can move back or you can move on to an objective. So overall, pretty solid. There's also the hand flame bomb, which I assume was just made to like clear screens that pop up with lying in wait and just delete the screen of light infantry, at least. Heavy infantry might have some problems with that, but it's like if there's some small screening units, it could easily take care of it. And then backing up the Ridge Runners and the Firebase, we got some countercharge units with the Roxa bomb of Acolytes and also the Patriarch. And as I said, you have the 2 Rock Runners probably just pushing forward, like being distractions, trying to tie stuff up. So yeah, overall that is a lot of damage. So looking at this list, it uses a lot of command points. You can easily like burn through all of your command points in a single turn with this list. So it starts with 7 command points, but then of course you gain one every turn. And from what I understood, you also use the Forward Emperor Wall trait on the Magus to give you plus D3 command points at the start of the game. So get some back there. And it's also using the Nexus to together with the Primus, you gain CP back from your own stratagems on a 5-up. And if your opponent uses strategy, can get one back on a 6+. Sure, you can only get one per turn, but considering the amount of stratagems people use in this game, I'll say you're pretty reliably gonna get at least one back, or you're gonna get that one back per turn, at least 4 turns of the game. So, like over the game, you'll probably have something like 18 to 19 command points if you roll like averagely. So, yep, that's so you have like a battery like charging this command point heavy army. So you have a CP battery in the back. So yeah, pretty good, pretty well built list here. So I would like to call this like a sucker punch, like this sort of strategy. I don't know if that's, sure you can call it like beta strike or something, but yes, I think sucker punch, like it sounds much better. Like you come out of nowhere and just smack them so hard that they just fall over. And it's not about fighting fair, it's about winning. So so yeah, you hit the opponent's army so hard, like very critical units with these high damage units, like at the same time that they just can't respond. And you probably have even some more backup to, like if they have reserves, you can punch that unit hard as well. The trick, however, would be to strike like at the right time, the right unit at the right time with the correct unit for use. Like, what unit should I use to take care of that unit? What unit should I use to take care of that unit? And really like have a good priority, because if you fail, like if this turn whiffs, you're screwed. But let's say you succeed. You come in turn 2 or maybe turn 3, depending if you have to clear some screens, and you hit them really hard and like basically delete like a whole lot of their army. So then they're on the back foot. Then you take the board in turns 3, 4, and 5. Like start scoring up your primary real good. So yeah, I can definitely see that working. It also, you need to pick the right secondaries for this type of list. Since this sucker punch is so important, like it is the whole strategy, you have to focus on it like a lot. Like all your focus must be on it. So you can't just take one unit, I can get 1 point for engaging all fronts, like and get an extra point if I put the unit there. But no, just go all in on the damage first and then score the points. That's what I would say. So probably we'll look into some like secondary objectives that can get like high score like late in the game. Like I think when I read the Facebook discussion with the guy, he talked about line breaker, teleport homer, psychic ritual, and stuff. So like the ones they're risky, but you can get a lot of points out of them. So I mean, you hit your opponent's army really hard, you handicap them, and then the board is yours to do whatever you wish with. So yeah, it's definitely a valid strategy. I mean, it worked. From what I can see, it does have one weakness, and that's good screening. If the opponent has really good screening, and screening like some really dangerous shooting units or just dangerous units, I mean, Genestealer will just fall over if you hit them. So if the opponent can screen with cheap chaff, then I can see this list struggling. Right now, I mean, there's not a lot of, from what I've seen, there's not a lot of like cheap horde units out there, but they could become more like, what do you call it? You could see more of them. One thing you could do, I mean, since the demo charges are blast, like if an opponent has like large infantry units, you can of course just come in and drop bombs on them, because you'll get a lot of shots and just clear them off. But then you're sacrificing a lot of your like high value damage, since the demolition charges are only like one shot. I mean, so yeah. But so to move on a bit, so how would I like take inspiration? What can I sample from this? So of course, since I hate myself, I don't want to run mixed detachments, and I don't want to run like two different detachments. I want everything to be the same cult creed. So I mean, that's just me handicapping myself. You can do whatever you want. But I feel like the narrative, it's a part of the game. I want it to be that way. So that's just me. But I had actually been thinking about like a similar concept with Bladed Cog. I mean, since I was started to think about this, like I can't really out-survive the opponent, like at least not with the list and the models I have now. So I started thinking like, how can I hit them really hard? Just go all out damage and then take the board. So I like dabbled. I'm not really tried it out, but like theorizing about a similar concept. So what I thought about was a Bladed Cog list, where I can basically hit 3 enemy units really hard, turn 2 or turn 3. So basically, and I want all of this to hit in like one turn, to just bam, neutralize a lot of threats, like in an instant. So I've been thinking about a biker bomb with 5 jackals, just coming in, lying in wait, nuking a target with demolition charges. I mean, basic stuff. You can probably use some alphas to give them +1 to hit. So they're hitting a freeze. I mean, demo charges are already high strength, so they're probably booming most things on 2s or 3s. So still valid. Don't really need the Rusted Claw for that. And then also a Roxa bomb coming out of Cult Ambush, paired with a Patriarch and some Acolytes, like coming out of transports, advancing up and charging. Probably using the Amulet of the Void Worm on the Patriarch to eat any Overwatch the opponent has. And then I've also been thinking about, since using like 2 detachments, so I can have 2 Meta-morphs coming in. There's some like high priority infantry, tough infantry unit, let's say 10 intercessors or something like that, something similar. And then just throw a bunch of neophytes, or a bunch, like 10 to 20, 1-2 squads with them, just to protect them a bit. And also throw down a Magus that has the Bladed Cog Warlord trait. Now the Bladed Cog Warlord trait, it allows you, after deployment but before the first battle round begins, you pick one target and that Magus gives out an aura of reroll wounds, all wounds against that one unit, if you're winning 6 of the Magus. So, I mean, Kelmorphs, they're really good, we know that, but they're only strength 4. But if you could give them reroll wounds, they suddenly become really, really dangerous. And so you fire first Kelmorph, and more than likely you're gonna kill a few models, which means that the second Kelmorph gets the reroll ones to hit, which basically guarantees that it hits with all 12 shots. Or he gets 12 shots, and he hits with all of them. And they're all rerolling wounds. Throw in like a smite from the Magus and some autogun, maybe a mine laser or 2 from the neophytes, and yeah, you probably just cleared 10 intercessors. And the thing is, with this mob, since you're all hitting at strength 4, you're only wounding them, of course. So, like, strategies like transhuman won't work on them. So that's really good. And of course, I need some backup for this. So I'm thinking about some Ridge Runners, 3 to 6, a Jackal Alphas, and of course some transports, maybe some Rock Grinders. So the Alphas can buff the Ridge Runners turn 1, and then probably the enemy will start targeting the Ridge Runners, and then the Alphas can move up and assist the Biker Bomb coming in. And I would probably just Cult Ambush and a Primus at a prime location with a 9-inch aura. Possibly using the Heart of the Creed to get reroll ones to hit against 2 targets. So, yeah, I think it could be pretty devastating. However, though, the more I look at it, Rusted Claw bikes, I mean, they are looking really good. And my arm is painted orange, which is the Rusted Claw color. So, yeah, it's a tough one. I think I might start to look more at Rusted Claw, because I really like the extra movement you can get out of that stratagem for your bikes. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna buy more bikes anyway, because they're awesome models, so we'll see which way I take this. So yeah, this has been a small tactics video, like some thoughts about this list. I hope it's been useful for someone. I really, like, it was really inspiring to me, like, to see someone like actually doing good with Pure Genestealer cult. So yeah, it's all fun. Okay, keep playing, keep practicing. We're gonna get a codex sometime in the future, but until then, let's just keep fighting, keep scratching. Okay, thank you for watching, and bye.